So, analysis. Analysis. Remember, for analysis, we're thinking about so what? What are the implications of what we've just learned? How will that work in practice? What are the real world examples of that? And how does it link to other things? So, the first thing to think about is if we can understand the parts of the brain related to sleep, well, that can help us to understand sleep disorders. Narcolepsy, one of the most well known sleep disorders, is a disease where people have what we call sleep attacks. Essentially, they go to sleep at unpredictable occurrences throughout the day when they shouldn't be asleep, if that makes sense. We're not talking about kind of dozing off or kind of being drowsy. We're talking about going from regular awake to asleep almost instantaneously, not perhaps quite as ridiculously as we might see in films, but very, very quickly indeed. Well, narcolepsy has been linked to particular strains of flu, particular versions of that disease, which kill off cells in the hypothalamus. So it's been suggested that those strains of flu killing off those cells in the hypothalamus affects the SCN in some way, and that makes people more likely to fall asleep at inappropriate times. Maybe it damages the SCN so it thinks it's dark when it's light, or maybe it damages its ability to communicate with the cells of the body. We're not quite sure, but we do know that there is some kind of link there. Um, a second piece of analysis can be seen when we look at type 2 diabetes. There are two different types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is something that is often genetic, whereas type 2 diabetes can be related to consumption of sugars and can develop over time based on diet. Well, sometimes problems with the SCN can lead to someone sleeping less and spending less of their sleeping hours in slow wave sleep and REM sleep. And we'll talk a bit more about what that means later on. But essentially, problems with the SCN and the brain can affect how we sleep and mean that we're less likely to be sleepy during the night. And it can also affect how our bodies recover. Well, this issue with the SCN can lead to the people feeling hungrier and also craving specifically sweet and salty foods, which is linked to type 2 diabetes. So, actually, sleeping and problems with the SCN and sleeping can actually affect other parts of the body, like diabetes. Finally, Sharma et al. In 2018 found that they could ease traumatic memories in mice. I'm not sure what the traumatic memories were of, but they could ease these traumatic memories in mice by blocking a protein in the amygdala while the mice slept. So presumably they gave the mice some traumatic memories. That seems a bit mean, but I guess that's what they did. And they were able to measure that they were eased. Again, I'm not sure how they did that, but they found that if they blocked a particular protein in the amygdala while the mice slept, so not while they're awake and conscious, but while they slept, they found that they could ease those traumatic memories. So even when they were awake, blocking the protein in the amygdala while they slept somehow meant that they were less panicky, less traumatized during the day. Now, this might seem a bit odd in mice, but if we could do this for people with a post-traumatic stress disorder or victims of abuse or things like that, that would be a huge step forward in terms of treatment for those people and potentially make their lives significantly better.